Welcome back to the program. Now, as we edge towards the 2027 general election, what is the fate of every Nigerian when it comes to security, and how would this affect voters' turnout? That's where our attention will be focusing on this evening. And I've got two amazing gentlemen with me in the studio to help us discuss this conversation. And I have Captain Oyeleke Fola Oluwole, who is a former U.S. Army veteran and also CEO for Tex Shield Limited and security consultant. Also, I have with me in the studio Captain, of course. You've seen him a number of times, and one of your favorite analysts, of course, Captain Dr. Lukman Gigado, who is the security expert, who is also a security expert and executive director, Zan Multi-Concept Limited. He's also Nigeria's former Army veteran. They will help us make sense out of this conversation. Gentlemen, it's beautiful to have you join me in the studio this evening. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Well, let me start with you, Dr. Gidado. From your military experience, how could you assess Nigeria's current security architecture ahead of the general election, which we're just months away?
Okay, thank you very much. By and large, an environment devoid of security, no election can take place. And as a matter of fact, election is one of the fundamental criteria to actually call Nigeria a democratic state. It is the only means through which people can actually participate in governance by electing those who will lead them and who will represent their interests both at the federal and the legislative arms of government. So talking about the security architecture of Nigeria as we prepare for the forthcoming 2027 general elections, I will not say that it is a perfect security architecture. We have numerous challenges here and there, issues of banditry, kidnapping, and other violent crimes bedeviling Nigerian security landscape. But the security agencies are equally trying their best, trying to make sure that all criminal groups are degraded and decimated to further improve the security of lives and property. And if this momentum is actually sustained, as we have seen numerous successes that have been recorded by the military, by the police, the NDLEA, and other security agencies, I think the election will actually take place in a democratic and credible way.
All right, Captain Fola, let me come to you. Now, we've battled this insurgency, insecurity, banditry. We've battled it for decades, and everyone is beginning to get worried because we are just months away to the general election where Nigeria gets to decide. Now, do you think that we've had the military fighting this over years? Now, what is your prediction from now to the general election? Do you see this becoming something that Nigeria would overcome before then?
Thank you very much. First, before I would like to thank the men and women in uniform, starting from the armed forces to the paramilitary, everyone. I would like to say thank you for your service. It's something that they don't hear a lot of, but it's a culture of, in the service that I've been part of in my life to always thank men and women in uniform for their service. Like you rightly said, we've been battling these security issues for a while, and the biggest thing for us is, are we winning? Are we on the trajectory that makes things better? I would say yes, because in the last few months, weeks, and days, we've had our issues. We still have our issues. These issues are still there, but there's been more focus on security. We can see recently the House of Representatives and the Senate passed the state police. Is still waiting for 24 states to pass that before it gets fully assented. That's a step in the right direction. It shows that we're now having the talks that we're supposed to have about our security posture. And we've seen a lot of, credible wins, starting from the military. The Army, in conjunction with the U.S. partner, has carried out various operations in the last few weeks. And one of it, the biggest, is the killing of the number 2 of ISIS in Nigeria, on Nigerian soil. So that is a big win. Yes, do we still have our problems? Yes, just like my brother has rightly said, we cannot negate the fact that these problems do exist. But what really matters is, are we acting on the situations that we have And are we moving towards a solution? Yes, from my purview, with my years and experience in the security field, I think yes.
Now, when you, it's glad you mentioned state police, but how much do you think state police can do in this regard? Because there has been arguments where people have said, "Oh, state governors would use these people as to, to their opponents and the rest of it." There's been so many arguments, and we've even seen the opposition saying, "This is not the right time for state police and all that." But in your own expertise, how much do you think the state police can do in this regard?
Thank you. So there's always a pros and cons to everything. Are there possible issues with the state police? Could they be possible issues? Absolutely. But are there wins? Could there be wins? Absolutely. All right, so if you want to look at it, if you want to balance it out, what it does is it returns the ability to govern, the ability to protect people. It returns it back to the state level. And yes, there's been a lot of argument. In fact, I was one of those that when I first heard about the state police bill, I had to read and reread it to, understand fully. And the concerns that a lot of people have about accountability, about misuse and all of that, yeah, these are credible concerns. But at the end of the day, we have, if you read the laws, it shows that there's an oversight. There will be an oversight. And it talks clearly about accountability. So that in itself just makes me comfortable that we're moving in the right direction, that the state police implementation it's a good thing.
Now, Captain, let me come back to you. I know the last time I had you on this program, I also asked you that people have said that, our leaders haven't shown enough political will. Now, the state police is before us, and today, would you say, what is your thought on what the opposition is saying regarding the state police? Would you say, oh, we've come to the end of it, Nigeria is about to win this battle that we've battled for decades?
Okay, talking about the issue of state police, people keep taking us back to the First Republic in 1963. So the question is, the kind of security situation we found out we were in 1963, is it the same thing that we are at the moment? Okay. The answer is completely no. This is 2026. Yes, there are the concerns being raised by numerous Nigerians as regards the possible abuse of state police is very, very valid. Okay. But are there institutional mechanisms and safeguards that have been put in place to actually prevent this abuse? I think for me, if you read through the bill for state police, there are sufficient institutional safeguards to prevent political misabuse by the governors. Oppositions are scared of the fact that it will serve as a weapon in the hand of the governors to intimidate and harass political opposition. But there are safeguards, like I said, that have been put in place. Because if you look at the complexity of the security issues we are facing at the moment in Nigeria as a country, this insecurity takes place more often than not in the local communities, in the rural communities. So the question that now comes to mind is that, do we actually have local government existing in Nigeria? From all indication, I would like to say that I don't want to believe we have what is called local government. Because as a matter of fact, I don't think they are even functioning. When there is an issue of insecurity, you hear people attacking the federal government, all forms of a negative narrative will be put on the social media to paint security agencies as if they are not doing anything. Forgetting the fact that areas where this is happening is the local government, the rural environment. And we've heard that local government have gotten their autonomy. That means their fund is being spent directly to them. So what's happening? Why is the rural area so underdeveloped? There is a gross deficit of infrastructural decay within the local communities. And these are drivers, endemic poverty. These are drivers of insecurity. So for me, I think we need to look inward as against always, attacking the federal government. We need to, wake up and also hold our state governors and our local government chairmen responsible. because if you are looking at it from the angle of only the kinetic operations, what about the political angle? What happens when a so more amount of money, funds have been set aside for the development of a particular area, and we're not seeing any development taking place? Because if this can be addressed, socio-economic issues, especially people that reside within the local communities, I think it will go a long way towards, fostering security of life and property, and all these drivers of insecurity will be properly addressed. So for me, I think the local government authority, there's need for a comprehensive review of why the local government is not functioning optimally in Nigeria as a country. I think if that is done, I think we'll be taking some good steps in the right direction.
All right, I love the fact that you mentioned holding state governors accountable. But again, we would say, yes, we've seen this administration, allocate more than we used to know when it comes to security votes to state governors. So in your own expertise, what do you think? Talk to us about what you think is the issue. Do you think these governors are not ready to do the needful, or it's just beyond them?
Okay. You listen to the Deputy Speaker of the House of Rep when he granted an interview, and he was being asked that where will state governors get the money to fund state police? He laughed. He said, no state governor in Nigeria can say they don't have the fund to finance state policing. And you know what he's saying? For me, that a representative of the federal government was speaking in that context. So that's to tell you that what me and you don't know, a lot of funds have been disbursed to our state governors. Now, before now, we've had instances whereby some governors in Nigeria say that we cannot control the security forces, the security agency, because they take directive from Abuja. With the bringing on board of state police, such excuses will not be tolerated. I think, like I said, Nigerians, we need to wake up and understand that government at all levels, federal, state, and local government, their primary responsibility is one, provide security for all Nigerians. And that is the primary purpose for the existence of government. But I don't know how we come to a situation whereby we only focus on the federal government, neglecting that we have state governors that are collecting security votes. We have local government chairmen that the Supreme Court have given a verdict that hegemony of state governors hijacking their funds should be broken. So what's now going on? This now should be a wake-up call to all Nigerians. Go and hold your state governors and your local government chairmen, hold them accountable. But there's need to still give credit to some state governors that are actually, maintaining a very professional and serious posture when it comes to issue of insecurity. I will give credence to the Kogi State Governor. He's doing a wonderful job in terms of supporting the security agents, providing them with the necessary equipment, combat enablers in terms of support to make sure that they go all out to decimate these adversaries. And the Kaduna State Governor is also, doing the needful. Kwara State is not to be left out. There are a whole lot of governors that are actually trying their best, but their best is not enough. They need to make sure that security, which is the only pillar upon which all other activities, all other socio-economic and development activity rest, is well taken care of. If that is done, I think Nigerians, the atmosphere of panicking that people found themselves, it will be ameliorated, and people will have more confidence in the government as well as the security agents as we prepare for the 2027 general election. All
right, Captain Fola, over to you now. As a U.S. military veteran, yes, when it comes to technology, how far or what would you say is the distance between the African country, Nigeria particularly, and the U.S.? And with your expertise, what do you think we are missing in, what do you think we are missing in fighting this battle?
The biggest thing for me now is the fact that we have finally woken up as a country, as a people. The people, their responsibility is to demand, for better life, better security from the government. And the government's responsibility is to provide it. And in recent times, some of the things that we've seen is the government realizing that we cannot fight these battles, these wars, through only kinetic means. So they're infusing other non-kinetic measures, which is, bringing in intelligence, technology. Yes, we're still a little bit far from. Yeah,
How far?
I wouldn't
When you say a little
yeah,
bit far,
I wouldn't sit here to compare the Nigerian security
but you
posture.
could say, okay, these are the styles Nigeria government should adapt, or
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and they are doing so. There's a call, there's a push to include more technology. You're seeing more deployment of drones. There's more deployment of even locally made technology to aid security. And you'll be surprised that in Nigeria we have companies in this country that are working hard to making geospatial tools, some softwares, some equipment that are strictly technology based in Nigeria, and they are deploying it as we speak to fight insecurity. Are we doing enough? Yeah, well, that's questionable. Yeah, could we do better? Absolutely, yes. We could always improve. So, the issue of technology, I've always been an advocate for, fighting battles with technology, because things have changed. Look at these terrorists. They're so bold. These insurgents, they're so bold that they can get on TikTok to do giveaway, and Nigerians are participating in that. So they are trying the government. Right, they are pushing.
how possible is it that these people, quite fair that you mentioned the TikTok live and the rest. So how possible is it that our military is unable to track these people?
Well, I wouldn't say our military is unable to track. I wouldn't say that. But you can't. There are laws or there are rules in place to get things done. Okay, and that's one thing that a lot of people that are not maybe in the security world don't understand. But yes, part of it, I know, again on the internet, they leave footprints. I know for sure that the DSS, the Defense Intelligence, they're working, they're gathering intelligence, they know. Okay, and however they're going to, go after these people is not something that they would come out to tell everybody. They are gathering information. They know, they know what they know. I'm not a supporter of people coming to talk about sources and methods of getting things done. What I want to see is action. But to your question about the use of technology, the biggest thing is I would have been unhappy if the Nigerian agencies, the Nigerian states, the Nigerian security agencies are sleeping, if they're not coming to terms with the fact that technology is a very important tool for them to fight this war and win this war. So we've woken up to that, and we're just at the early stage of doing a lot of things. There are a lot of things that needs to be put in place. I'll give you an example. I met a guy whose job was to for his company that he worked for. It's a drone company in Nigeria, and he imports drone. And he told me, he said, well, one of the issues with the importation is that his company were battling getting a license and all of that, but they've been able to scale through. I said, well, that's good news. It's because even the Nigerian state, the Nigerian government, the NSA, everyone is getting to understand that we need these technologies to fight this battle. And we're getting there. The Nigerian military the other day, I was watching online, we just opened a new control room. That is technology. For that control room to work, that battle station to work correctly, you need technology. So we are getting to the point, or we've gone to the point where we've understood that we can't just continue in a kinetic way. We're adding non-kinetic measures to our battle, but both needs to go concurrently for us to win this battle.
Okay, as someone who has served in the US, talk to us what you think about our borders, because we've often heard how porous our borders are. In most cases, we've even heard that these terrorists and these bandits are not even Nigerian-based. Yes. They share border, and you will speak to some security expert, and they will tell you the deployment of technology when it comes to our borders, it's almost impossible due to network and the rest of it. And we don't know. What do you think should happen to our borders? Because I heard Captain Gidado talk about state governors and local government chairmen to, helping to fight insecurity. But the thing is, what happens to about these people who are not even Nigerians and who troop in and troop out of Nigeria without being properly checked?
Okay, so first I have good news. The good news is recently the NIMC Act was passed. What that does for Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians probably don't know, is it gives us the opportunity now to have a more robust, sophisticated data point where we can easily know who is who, we can easily identify, we can easily verify. So that is the first step. It is technology, so thank God for that. Now, another thing, the Minister of Interior came out to tell us also recently that three terrorists were apprehended on their way back from Hajj. That didn't happen because they saw them and they felt like they were terrorists. It happened because we have a system. We're having a system in place that was tracking them, and they actually came in through a different state. They departed through a different state and tried to come back to Nigeria through a different state. So it shows us that we're getting there. Now, the land border, it is very porous. Absolutely. Yes, we need to consider maybe in the near future fencing some. Even in the U.S., the U.S. has a very big border with Mexico and Canada. The Mexican border on the Texas side and on the California side, they are fenced, big fence. You know, it was fenced. And the U.S. also deployed technology, drones and all that to monitor these things overnight. I think these are things that the current Minister of Interior is a very, very intelligent person. I've seen him, you know, share the same concern. The Nigerian Immigration Service as well. They're working, these guys are working really, really hard. If you check the customs as well, recently I was watching where they intercepted contrabands with the weapons and other things coming into the country. So these are things that we have woken up to realize, and we are working towards getting it, you know, fixed. So it would have been worse if, yes, we just know that we have porous borders, we're not doing anything. Like you already said, deployment of technology is what would help. There is not, you know, manpower cannot get everywhere. Okay, we need to we need to monitor these borders morning, afternoon, and night, all day. So these are things that, at the moment, the government is aware, and the government is doing something about it. So I want to give good kudos and credit to the Minister of Interior, to the current administration, for identifying that. Before now, I never used to hear anything about the Nigerian borders in the news. It was not a thing. It was not even up for discussion. But now that people are talking about it, I don't know the exact time frame at which things would start, you know, moving. But I've heard conversations about, you know, enhancing our border security. Every country in the world is doing that. It is not going to be strange for us to start mounting fences, for us to start, you know, deploying more of our troops or our paramilitary, our immigration service, you know. But we have internal issues, and it's part of it. We have to protect our borders. Like you rightly said, a lot of these insurgents and terrorists, over time, we've heard things about, oh, they came from countries like Chad, coming in through Mali, through Niger, and all of that. So with this immigration system that we have now, with the NIMC Act and everything else, is a step in the right direction. All of these things will not just, you know, help us as a nation, but help protect our nation.
All right, Captain Gidado, let me have your take on concerning this border, because it's often been talked, and we, the media, we've been doing our own part when it comes to talking about and how porous. We've got to speak with analysts, security experts, who have oftentimes said that we cannot win this battle if we don't do anything about our borders. And also, why you give me your opinion on that? Talk to me of what you think about rehabilitating and reintegrating repentant bandits into the society.
Okay, let me start with the issue of the border.
Okay.
To further corroborate what Captain Oyewole have said, we cannot rule out the fact that whatever that is happening in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger will not spill over into our own country. We share considerable and sizable amounts of border with Niger. And part of what has made our borders to be more porous is as a result of the fact that I think there's little or no coordination with the AES states, Alliance of Sahelian States.
Okay.
When Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger opted out of ECOWAS, that left a very big gap. Intelligence coordination became a problem. So the issue of border porosity, whether we like it or not, all of us were within the West African sub-region. There's the imperative need for the ECOWAS framework to see the possibility of reaching out to the Alliance of Sahelian States in terms of information and intelligence gathering. We need each other. We need us and they need them. Before they opted out of ECOWAS, I think there was considerable, successes in terms of intelligence fusion. When they opted out due to political reasons, the ECOWAS needs to also revisit that issue as against the fact that the current administration in this government, they are not constitutional democracy. I think we should not allow political issues to affect security issues. There's transnational crime across all the West African states. And it is also stated that Multinational Joint Task Force, MNJTF, I don't believe Niger is still proactive the way expected of it. As a principal player, as a principal actor, one of the players under the framework of MNJTF. So this needs also to be revisited. What is making Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, to opt out, not wanting to integrate with other West African countries? It will not spell well for all of us within this sub-region. So I'm calling on ECOWAS to see the possibility of reaching out to those that have opted out of the ECOWAS framework, because we need that information and intelligence gathering. When these adversaries are entering your territory, are you sharing information with Nigeria? Are you sharing information with Niger? Are you sharing information with Burkina Faso and Mali? If this is not done, there's still a very big vacuum that has been left. That is why Mali, as we speak, this JNIM, Jamaatul Nasrul Islam Wal Muslimin, they are seriously, making life unbearable for the Malians. Equally, Niger, it was stated that just about 2 weeks ago, as a result of lack of information and intelligence gathering with other West African states, adversaries, the terrorist group are equally dealing with them in Niger. So that's to tell you that we need one another. We need to come together to actually set aside political reason and focus on the security of life and property. And if that is done, I think it will go a long way. And in addition with other frameworks such as technology and the rest, towards improving our border security. Now, to your second question. What was the question?
I say a lot of Nigerians have frowned at what we call repentant Boko Haram and reintegrating back into the society. Is that a good dimension for Nigeria?
Reintegrating criminal elements, for me, personally, I don't support it.
Okay.
I'm not a supporter of that. Arresting them, I'm not a supporter of that. Though, from the military point of view, but from the intelligence point of view, there is need for you to also arrest some to gain information, gather intelligence, to know the whereabouts of others. But militarily speaking, I think they should just be neutralized, from my own personal point of view. Just a few days ago, some ISWAP commanders, as a result of the intensity of the military operations currently going on in the northeastern part of the country, they came to surrender. So kudos to the Operation Adenkai theater commander. So this them surrendering does not mean the law will not take its full course against them.
Exactly.
There are processes. Investigation will be carried out. The DIA, the NIA, all of them will come on board to actually, ascertain their involvement in making life unbearable for Nigerians. No security personnel, either you are in active service or you are voluntarily disengaged from the system, we support such. Because these are people that have, maimed, killed our security forces, killed innocent Nigerians, and you are now, trying to reintegrate them with taxpayers' money. Money meant for the development of these rural communities where these criminal elements have made life unbearable for Nigerians. I think to all intents and purposes, I don't support reintegrating them back into the society. We have seen instances whereby some that have been reintegrated still go back to criminality.
Exactly.
So why are you rubbing their head? Why are you romancing them? They've gone back to criminality. We've equally read on pages of newspaper that some criminal elements, they've gone to prison more than 5 times. And you want to rehabilitate such person. Who are you to rehabilitate that kind of person? The only person that can rehabilitate such people is God. So you send them to God for proper rehabilitation. God will rehabilitate them, not making you're just like romancing them. I don't support that. Taxpayers' money should be made for developmental projects, not to reintegrate bandits, criminal elements who have killed innocent Nigerians. Okay, what becomes of? Let me take you back to this abduction that took place in Ogbomoso. A teacher was beheaded. A young girl, a young child, was still laying on the floor, requiring medical attention. People have been, they lack humanity. That's just the bitter truth. So these people lack humanity. Why are you trying to show them that, okay, you are humane? For me, I think that is not good enough. It is a big slap on the those that have been killed. It's a big slap on the lives of the security agencies, those that have been injured in battle, and those that have paid the supreme sacrifice. For me, I feel it is important that going by what the president and commander-in-chief said, that the window for surrender will not be open forever.
Yes.
Yes. So I think that is a wake-up call, a marching order to the security forces. Go out on these people. Take them out. If they are not ready to come and surrender, yes, under the international humanitarian law, when the combatant have surrendered, you don't have any right to shoot such person. But that is not to tell you investigation will not commence to ascertain their level of involvement, their veracity, whether they're actually sincere. And if all facts available have proven and have shown that these persons, group of surrender bandits or terrorists have killed Nigerians, I think the needful should be done. And equally, just of recent, several court proceedings that took place gave a pronouncement that some bandits and terrorist groups should be neutralized. This shows that the rule of law has been exhausted. So I want to call on our governors in all these respective states. There's Katsina, there's Edo State, and others. Borno, all these people that all the judicial processes have been exhausted and they have been pronounced to be executed. I urge them to sign that execution order. And I will equally want to applaud the Edo State governor for saying that he is not here. He was not elected to come and be taking criminal elements and terrorists to kidnappers to court. Once you have been apprehended, and statistics have shown that you have kidnapped, you have killed people, you have made life unbearable for people, you face firing squad openly. That is not a new thing. It is taking place in Somalia. That is why Al-Shabaab has been seriously degraded. So I call on our governors to make sure that you need to show these people that you are not for joke.
Yes.
When you sign such execution order, if some people have been sent to their ancestors, they have been sent to go for rehabilitation, I think that would be a very strong deterrence measure towards curbing all forms of criminality in Nigeria.
Great. I love what you've just said. Now, Captain Fola, what would be your take when it comes to, would such a thing happen in the US, or would you still see this to justify people who said, the leaders have never shown any political will to fight this insecurity? And secondly, when we saw the killings of a few sub-generals in Nigeria, former generals, well, people would ask, what would it look like if such a thing should happen in the US?
Well, in as much as I am not here to speak on behalf of the United States government.
No, I mean, as someone who has served there,
right,
and you
so,
understand how the system works there.
Yeah. So I just had to put that there. But it is sad, especially to the last comment that you made about the killing of the generals and some other military and police uniformed men and women by these criminals, by these non-entities, to say the least. It saddens my heart when I see and I hear things like that. But could it happen elsewhere? In a place where I've served, I've not heard about that. Not within not within the country. Absolutely. So just to re-echo what my friend and my brother said here, everything that he said, I agree with it. These are not elements that should be reintegrated back into society. I feel like once you do that, the tendency of the sleeper cells that you have within the community waking up is very, very high, because everybody thinks that, well, I will just do whatever, I will go, and then, they will integrate me, I will probably surrender.
Just for a while.
And just for a while. They make it look like excursion, excursion to do bad things. But there's a few things that we can also look at. And even though it requires a lot of intelligence, a lot of monitoring, there are some people that you would argue, agree with me that they got radicalized not because they wanted to. That's a possibility. Even in advanced countries, we've seen that happen. Some people, maybe because of the areas that they come from, poverty was weaponized, and amongst other things as well, their illiteracy was weaponized, and they got radicalized to join some of these, criminals. And at the end of the day, they maybe realize or they just get tired of it and they come out. Just like you said, the part that I agree with is when they come out and they say, well, under humanitarian law, and they come out and surrender. How you're going to treat a person who surrenders is different from a person that you captured. It's different from a person that that you faced in a life battle. Absolutely. I don't see any reason why any of our security agencies would go against these people, and their goal would be to capture them and bring them back to reintegrate, to radicalize and reintegrate them
back to the society.
And that's not how it works, and that is not what it is. Because whenever we hear it out, the radicalization and all of that, that's definitely not what it is. A lot of times, there are even some videos, even though they're so gory sometimes, but there's some videos out there of these people being taken out, being killed. Yes, that's what I want to see more of. But at the same time, on the other hand, the president, like you said, rightly said, the president just said, the window is not going to be open forever. Come out and give up your arms. Come out and do the needful, unless you face the law. And some states as well. And I want to applaud Edo State once again, just to re-echo what he said. I was looking at that and I was very, very happy and proud of the governor. What he did is what I think every Nigerian governor should do.
Okay.
Take that hard line, that strong stance against criminality, banditry, terrorism. It shouldn't even be something that would wait. And I saw that the Edo State judiciary came on board right away with that plan. That's what I want to see in all states. Like you said, we can blame, the federal level for wanting to do things in a certain way, all we want. What about the states? What about the local, where these crimes happen? What measures are in place locally and all of that? So it is important for us to understand when we talk about this de-radicalization thing. Nobody is saying that, our military is busy in Zambia or anywhere else looking for terrorists. Oh yeah, come, we're going to de-radicalize you. No, they are working hard. They are taking out these people. But there are instances where, these guys come out and surrender, and some of them are currently being persecuted, just like you said, and I love to see that, and I want us to amplify more of that, so they will know that this is not a country. I hear more about the radicalization than persecution in this country. I hear more about it. People feel like, oh, we're busy de-radicalizing terrorists. They're not amplifying that some terrorists are actually facing the law. We have laws, and we're enacting those laws against these terrible people, these inhumane people. So in as much as I want that to be the first thing, take them out. We don't need them in our society. But on the other hand, just to balance it out, if they surrender, like the window currently open right now, okay,
which will not be open forever.
which will not be open forever. So yes, so those are the things that we should continue to look at. And again, I applaud the men and women in uniform. Every day it breaks my heart to see that in as much as they're trying, these people make their gains look like nothing.
It's nothing.
And it is not easy. Is it the being away from family? Is it the sometimes not having access to a lot of things? So again, we will continue to hope and pray that these radicals at some point and this menace that we have of banditry, of terrorism, just comes to a total halt.
All right, thank you both gentlemen for your wonderful opinion. I totally agree with what you say, especially when it comes to reintegrating bandits back into the society. To me, because I've heard someone who said he knows someone, or rather he has seen someone who has gone to prison 5 good times. So he got so used to it that he would say, yes, I'll go and spend a while there. But it's sad anyway. So it's not something that we should be debating over, whether or not to reintegrate bandits back to the society. But now, let's not also forget that what happened in Oyo State, it's been days, it's been weeks and months. We saw Nigeria's reaction towards that. Celebrities, prominent people who also lended their voice, and up till now, we are still hoping that we'll hear something positive. Now, as we approach the general election, which region do you see as most vulnerable to election-related violence or voters' suppression through insecurity? Because we used to think, these things are more in the north, but we've seen it clearly before us move from the north to the south. So literally nowhere is safe. Now, but then, where do you think this, when it comes to being vulnerable, which region do you think it affects?
Okay, historically speaking, the 2023 general elections, 2015 and others, we've seen elections not taking place in some part of the northeastern part of the country, historically speaking.
Okay.
However, with the current security situation, there is tendency of election not taking place, not only in the northeast. The north central is having its own share of insecurity. Southwest is having its own share of insecurity. All parts of the country are vulnerable and they are susceptible to that. So what I want to say is that there's need for a whole of society approach, a very holistic approach. We've passed the era of only saying that it's only some part in the northeast. The state police that has been approved, one of the reasons for that, I think the intention of the federal government to speed up the process is to actually see a considerable improvement in the security of life and property as we walk towards the general elections. If that is properly done, properly institutionalized, the election will see the light of the day, and election will be seen to take place properly in all parts of the country. I am not advocating for a perfect election. There is nowhere in the world that election has been perfect. But free, fair, credible, and democratic. Every Nigerians are allowed to go and carry out their civic responsibility of voting for any candidate of their choice. Rallies, campaigns are being conducted without hoodlums hijacking such processes. On the election day, election officials, INEC officials, election materials, the corps members that will be used as ad hoc staff, everybody is safe. Electorate are safe. An election is seen to be conducted to reflect the will of the people. If that is done, I think democracy will be seen to be properly entrenched in Nigeria. But it is not only by mere rhetorics. Yes, we've applauded the federal government that the state police as bill is being given the necessary attention it deserves. What about the implementation? State police cannot just be, deployed. You cannot just go and be capturing people and be putting uniform on their neck that, okay, you're part of the state police. There's a recruitment process that will be put in place, or that must be put in place. After that, who trains them? Weapon handling, endurance, and others. Training under the framework of human rights, understanding that the fundamental human right, holding gun, does not mean you save everybody and you start killing them. These are the bases that I expect by now. We've passed the process whereby we're talking about state police. We'll be talking about the implementation. Who will train the state police across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT? So these are the things I expect by now that all the 36 state governors and the FCT ministers should be talking about. Be looking inward. What will be the modus operandi? What kind of training curriculum will be designed for them? What will be the duration of the training? Because we should not be going back and forth in terms of implementation of all this. If this is done, and I think the needful should be done, we need to swing into action by making sure that there's a benchmark that will be set for anybody that will be recruited into the state policing, their training, for what duration, when will they pass out, and when will they be deployed into the field. This is something that we need to also look into, the Nigerian state needs to look into. Is it that when they are deployed, they will be independently be manning all these vulnerable areas? Are they going to be with the federal police for a period of time before the federal police will not start their withdrawing? Are they going to be allowed to, mingle with the military before the military will not start their withdrawing? Because the advantage of state police is that when we have personnel manning all these weakly governed or ungoverned spaces, it gives room for the military to withdraw back to the borders. Because we cannot be saying that we are improving our internal security mechanism at the expense of leaving our border to continue to be porous. So, because technology can do more of monitoring, who are the people that will actually do the enforce that rules and regulation? We need men on ground. We need boots on ground to make sure that our borders are more effective than ever before. And also, there's a fundamental problem that needs to be curbed in Nigeria. Ethnic profiling of criminality. I have served in the northeastern part of the country. It would be wrong for anybody to say all Kanuris are Boko Haram. It would be wrong to say that all Christians are terrorists. It would be wrong for anybody to say that all Fulani are terrorists. No. Ethnic profiling is something that, if care is not taken, it has tendency,
Captain, that's a whole lot of discussion, because we've had that over, and I think we'll even bring you back to help us discuss on that. But Captain Fola, before we go, in 60 seconds, because I am very sure this is not the first time he's been on my show, and every time he's been here, it's about security, because we understand what the role security plays as a nation that must grow. If a nation must thrive, it has to be very safe, where people will be allowed to go about their businesses and their daily activities. And that's what we talk about when we say a thriving nation. Now, in 60 seconds, how close or far do you think we are when it comes to fighting this war in security?
I think
are we very close? Are we very far?
I think we're winning.
We're winning.
That is the
beautiful.
That is the word. We're winning, because the trajectory, the attention that has been given to security in recent times is highly unprecedented. We've seen the House recently. I think 1.5 trillion was passed for security. Recently, also some monies were also given to the states, extra funds for security. We like in the Southwest, we've seen states coming together to establish security trust fund, because all of these things too, you can't do it without proper funding. So there's that attention, there's money. So now it's just full-blown implementation, which, just to piggyback off what my brother said, what timeline are we setting? I know the state police implementation timeline is about 24 months, which is 2 years. So we will start seeing actions from what I am seeing, from the people that I've been talking to. So I would say we're winning.
All right.
Let's not just lock it down with.
I mean, it's fantastic to
Yeah.
hear from someone like you who have the expertise and who has been there, who understand what that path tells us, to say that it's winning. And I pray hopefully, and I sincerely want to believe and be very optimistic that we are winning this war against insurgency. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here, and thank you for your time. This is where we'll draw the curtain, the conversation. Remember that security is everybody's business. This is not a sober one, but necessary. As Nigeria moves closer to 2027, the safety of our democracy and well-being depends on the safety of our people. Thank you very much for coming, gentlemen. And until we'll come your way some other time, I remain Chinaza Ase. Would you have yourself a beautiful evening? Keep watching Kaftan Television, and may God bless Nigeria.